Hi guys, welcome to another edition of the Objective Football Banter Show. I'm your host Twizy, and again, like we do every other week, we are going to be analyzing games that played out across the top 5 leagues in Europe with a little attention on the Champions League if time permits us. We start off with the games that played out in the Premier League over the weekend. Manchester United ran out 2 new winners away to Nottingham Forest with an impressive performance by Harry Maguire, who was under the spotlight following the injuries to Rafael Varane and Lisandro Martinez. Now, a lot of fans have their misgivings about Maguire, and rightly so, considering how really badly he has played every time he has been given the opportunity to impress. But we saw him play very well, keeping a clean sheet and marshalling the remaining of the day to keep a clean sheet, which was quite impressive. He did get away with a lucky penalty shout. He was quite lucky in that VAR cleared his blushes. Now, I think personally that ball was a penalty. The inconsistencies in the VAR system, has really played to the advantage of some clubs and some players as well. But it will be interesting to see how he plays from now to the end of the season, when the games start to come, real thick and fast, and the pressure begins to mount. Manchester United are actually, playing very well for the top 4 position, and they look comfortable in the 3rd spot. Although it seems like Brighton having 2 games in hand, and it seems like Liverpool mounting an injury resurgence here and there.
One would think this is a skit.
Every now and then, who knows? Top 4 might just be properly decided, on the final day of this season. Manchester City ran out 4-1 winners to Leicester City. Everyone and their mom expected Manchester City to win anyway, so it wasn't a surprising result. What was surprising though was that Manchester City actually didn't score more goals. A lot of people expected that Manchester City would really steamroll Leicester, considering that they had sacked Brendan Rodgers. They didn't look organized. Leicester City just looked out of sorts, and it was supposed to be a very long afternoon for Leicester City. But they came back with a respectable 4-1 defeat. I call it respectable because if they had allowed Manchester City to play to their full elements, Manchester City would have dropped them by 7 to 8 goals. But still was an impressive performance. 4 goals to 1, piling pressure on Arsenal, reducing the deficit to 3 points at the end of the day. They look forward to the next game to Arsenal, who are going to be away to West Ham United. Arsenal went away to West Ham United, and just like in Liverpool, they were leading by 2 goals to 0 by the 30th minute. For some strange reason, the same issues that happened to them against Liverpool played itself again, where after scoring 2 goals in 30 minutes, they start to get complacent, they start to become very cocky, and they really don't know what next to do with the ball. I think it's a mental issue that Arsenal have, because maybe the squad is quite young and they don't really understand fully yet what is required for them in games. A constant feature of Arsenal this season has been the inability to see out football matches that they dominate. Like, you could play a football game and get 80% possession, you could have 14 shots on target, but you don't put the ball in the back of the net. And football is about scoring goals, really. You need to take your chances, you need to score as much as possible to completely destroy and demoralize your enemy before they mount a comeback. Arsenal gave West Ham hope, and by the 40th minute, the West Ham began to realize, these guys are going to let us play our game. So they decided to force the issue, and they came away by halftime by 2 goals to 1. That's when you knew by halftime that Arsenal were going to be in serious trouble in the second half if they didn't score another goal. Another goal presented itself in the penalty that was given to Arsenal for Bukayo Saka to play, who has been really poor, to be honest. Here at the Objective Football Banter Show, we do not hide our analysis and our feelings about players and clubs, even if they come from our own clubs. Personally, I think Bukayo Saka has been really underwhelming in the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I think maybe it's down to fatigue and maybe down to pressure or a combination of both. But I think that Arsenal really need to invest in buying a proper competition for Bukayo Saka next season. And the Champions League is going to be a very difficult competition to play in. The levels are different. It's an elite level. You need to bring your A game all the time. And the Champions League, if you are not bringing your A game, you have to be substituted. All we've seen at Arsenal under Mikel Arteta with Bukayo Saka is that no matter how bad he plays, Arteta seems to always, give him an extra opportunity to keep playing, gives him extra minutes. I think that Martinelli has been a better footballer than Bukayo Saka in the last 1 month. But I think Arteta prefers to keep Bukayo Saka because of that element of unpredictability. There's just something different that he can bring at any moment in time, although he hasn't brought it for 3 weeks, I'm afraid.
Sensational.
Arsenal need to actually manage the results. They are now 4 points clear of Man City, who have a game in hand, by the way. Manchester City should win that game. There will just be a point between Arsenal and Manchester City. Which brings us to the game that is going to be played on the 26th of April at the Etihad. I personally think that is the match that determines who wins the Premier League. Whoever wins that game basically carries the league. A draw might benefit Arsenal, but that's if they have the momentum to win their remaining games. If you win your remaining games and you get a draw at Manchester City, you could win the league. You will win the league. Obviously, you will win the league if they could do that. But Manchester City just look too good at the moment. They are steamrolling teams. They are playing very well. Haaland is on fire. He's in his element, and they really look like they are going to be the ones to lift the Premier League trophy at the end of the season. But we'll wait and see. Tottenham lost by 3-2 to Bournemouth. A very strange result considering that, especially in the first half, Tottenham looked to be playing quite well. Remember that Bournemouth were also trying to run away from relegation dogfight. Tottenham were not playing like a team who wanted to get into top 4. So I think the levels of desire were just very apparent and it showed. And whoever had most desire was the one that was going to carry the day. A shocking result, but then again, it's the Tottenham. It's the history of the Tottenham. Nobody expects anything different, right?
Perfect.
Richarlison, I think he scored again and it was ruled for offside. I'll check that out. But I heard that he scored again and it was ruled for offside. I didn't see that game. I know Danjuma getting an equalizer in the 88th minute and it seemed like they were going for the winner. But the reverse happened and you saw Ouattara scoring the third goal in 9 seconds of the game. Christian Sterling has a lot of questions to answer. That is if he's going to be answering them at the beginning of next season because according to reports, Tottenham are already out there in search of a new manager. And Christian Sterling will need to find his winning team as quick as possible so they can mount a challenge for that top 4 spot. Newcastle are really pushing. Aston Villa are emerging forces. Brighton are playing really well. So Tottenham cannot be so confident about the top 4 spot. Manchester United have injuries, of course, to Lisandro Martinez, to Marcus Rashford and Rafael Varane. These are 3 important players who have played a ton of games for Manchester United this season. And you begin to wonder if they really have what it takes to survive the onslaught that will be coming their way till the end of the season. They are in the Europa League, of course. They have a second leg to play away to Sevilla. They have a lot of performances that they need to put up, and questions will be asked whether Harry Maguire can pull it off and can do the job required. Remember in the first leg against Sevilla at home, they were leading by 2-0, only to end the game 2-2, courtesy of own goals by Tyrone Malacia and of course you know who, Harry Maguire. Let us hope that Manchester United will not fumble this time close to the end of the season and then blame it on injuries, because you expect your substitute players to come in and do a very good job when your main players are not around. It's the point of substitutes. You are available in training, you are playing very well, so when you get the opportunity, you take the chance. That same cannot be said for Arsenal though, when players like Kieran Tierney and Rob Holding have been really poor. Rob Holding couldn't win a single aerial or ground duel against any attacker for West Ham. It was a shocking sight to see, which begs the question why Mikel Arteta still keeps him, considering that last season when the chips were down and Arsenal needed a substitute player to do the job in place of a centre back who was injured, Rob Holding was called upon and he disappointed terribly. Again, second season in a row has been called upon and he has failed again, and you begin to wonder why. Is it possible that some managers just seem to have a liking for certain players despite irrespective of their apparent deficiencies? But this is football. It's a funny world, it's a funny industry, and it's a funny old game. A lot of things are always happening behind the scenes, and it's always a mystery to we fans, but that's the beauty of the sport, right? Chelsea lost their third game in a row under the new interim manager Frank Lampard, who's beginning to look like he's going to be the first interim manager to get sacked. He's lost his first 3 games in charge. He has Real Madrid to play in the Champions League. He's likely to lose that one as well. He's still going to visit Arsenal. He's still going to visit Manchester City. So no one really knows where he plans to get the result from.
You don't know about it.
That's up in the air for everyone to wonder, and we'll see how that plays out. Yeah.
When I want to explain it, my head will be headache me.
Liverpool won by 6-1 away to Leeds United. It was a fantastic performance by Liverpool. They played so well. They broke the lines. They constantly an attacking threat anytime they went up forward, to go and try and create a chance. And this United looked really shocking. Luis Sinisterra was one of the few players, who really sort of tackled, got the only goal for them. But Liverpool deserved their win, and the credits to Jurgen Klopp for not giving up on his boys and for trying to encourage his players to keep trying, despite the fact that they failed and they've underwhelmed massively this season. Diogo Jota scoring twice and giving an assist after 32 games. Yeah, you heard me right. He hadn't scored a goal in 32 games, and he's finally put 2 at the back of the net including a wonderful assist as well. Trent Alexander-Arnold with his 50th assist and, looking very impressive. There was, sort of like a tweak to the way they play their football with the way Trent Alexander-Arnold was drifting to the middle of the pitch, much like Zinchenko does for Arsenal, by the way. The new approach to the way Trent was used, and I really liked it. And I think Klopp, is beginning to try to evolve his squad so that they can produce a different type of performance whenever they are needed. Yeah. On to the Spanish league, where Real Madrid ran out 2-0 winners and Barcelona played a 0-0 draw. The 11-point cushion is still preserved, obviously, and it looks to me like Barcelona will pick up the league standards, also very high over there, and you don't let your rival, especially your main rivals, leave you behind by 11 points. It's always very difficult in La Liga to claw that back. Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund both played out draws on sharing the points with their opponents. Bayern Munich drawing by goal 1-1, Borussia Dortmund playing a 3-3 draw, and the gap is still 2 points. Keep a close eye on that one because it could swing anyway. Remember, Bayern Munich were wiped 3-0 away to Manchester City at the Etihad. They were beaten so badly to the point that the players began to beat themselves. They were beaten so badly that they began to even beat themselves in the dressing room. I don't mean that metaphorically that they were beating themselves up. No, they really literally beat themselves up. Leroy Sané and Sadio Mane went at it full teeth in the dressing room, and reports are that Leroy Sané had a busted lip. Sadio Mane, of course, was suspended and couldn't play the game against Hoffenheim. And there are also reports that fans are beginning to sell their tickets for the return leg at the Allianz Arena, considering that they don't have any hope that they are moving to the next round. I wouldn't blame them if you are playing against Manchester City with Haaland up front and they are already leading by 3-0. It's going to be really, really difficult to come up with a win, turn that around, I'm afraid. The winner of that tie gets to play against Real Madrid or Chelsea. Everybody expects it to be Real Madrid, considering Real Madrid steamrolled Chelsea in the first leg by 2-0.
Let me tell you something.
And they look set to be able to beat Chelsea again on Stamford Bridge. We'll see how that plays out.
Seven.
The next set of games coming this weekend, Arsenal will be playing Southampton on Friday. Manchester City won't be in action because they'll be playing the FA Cup semi-finals against Sheffield United. It will be interesting to see how Manchester City respond, to the pressure of being, behind, on points. Should Arsenal win the game against Southampton, Arsenal will be 7 points clear heading into the game on the 26th, and it will be really interesting to see how Manchester City, not Manchester United. No. Manchester United, don't get your hopes up. We are not in the title race. That was a slip up. So it will be interesting to see how Manchester City respond to being 7 points behind, although they have a game in hand, and it will be a really tough time for them, seeing how they will navigate the fixtures, considering that they are still actively in 3 competitions: the FA Cup, the Champions League, and of course the Premiership race. Manchester City look like they are very strong and ready for the last 10-15 games of the season, but that's all up to the football gods. They determine what happens, and the prayers of fans like myself are anything to go by. Prayer is that Manchester City's ambition to win the Premier League for the 4th time in 5 years doesn't work out. Yeah, I said it. So that's it from me, Tweezy, and the rest of the crew out here in the Objective Football Banter Show. Click like, share, and subscribe our page. Leave your comments to tell us your thoughts on your teams and on certain players that you like to talk about, and let us know, what you'd like us to improve on the show. Until we see you again, thank you very much. Love.